Okay, so in regards to last Friday, we're gonna go ahead and talk about what happened. And viewer discretion is advised all over this motherfucker. Don't let your kiddies watch this because we're gonna talk about a sensitive subject. And I was trying to stick away and stay clear, but fate had another path for me. So being that it was this situation was presented to me, I'm gonna just go ahead and talk about it. So last Friday, some shit happened, and everybody left the house. Everybody left, except for me and three of the kids. It was really serious, and they decided that it was time for them to do something about it. So they chopped out. Okay, no problem. Go ahead and do you. About 30 minutes in, I get a phone call saying, "Hey, the kid's uncle is coming to pick up the oldest child. Have her ready. He'll be there within an hour." Okay, not a problem. Got it. Cool beans. 15 minutes later, I get another phone call saying, okay, nix that. Grandpa is coming to pick up both kids. Okay, what happened to the uncle? What happened to the uncle? I have no clue. But, you know, I said, okay, it's cool. I will have both kids ready, whatever. 30 minutes later, both kids are good, ready to go. The daughter got out 10 minutes after my second phone call. The son, I was just like, fuck it. Whatever little man puts on, that's what we putting on. I'm not fighting him. I'm not debating with him. I still got two other kids that I need to spread my energy out for. And I'm not exhausting my energy getting him dressed. Which was funny because little dude came out match as fuck. But that's not important to the story. Grandpa comes and walks through the door, and he's talking to my friend. And she wanted to talk to her daughter, so he hands her the phone. But in the process of doing so, he spills the news that wasn't supposed to be told to the daughter until she got to where the family was. That way they could kind of, console her and, be together. So I was pissed off at that because you just robbed the family that grieving time. Well, like any person getting bad news, it hit this little girl really hard. And she did not move from where she was sitting for like an hour, bawling, crying, and trying to compose herself. But the more that she tried, the more the tears flowed. And it just got to the point to where she just eventually got off the phone and locked herself in her room. She didn't eat. She didn't come out for the remainder of the night. She just stayed in there. And I was like, you know what? That's a fucked up move. Like, that wasn't your place to tell her that. But whatever. Not my family, not my problem, right? So I'm like, you know what, whatever. I'm going to stick to my original task at hand, and I'm going to continue to watch these kids and make sure that, nothing happens. Well, the uncle finally shows up, and, he's conversing with his dad or whatever. He eventually gets a phone call and has to step outside. Grandpa decides that, he's going to do the grandpa thing. He sees the baby who's, just wanting attention, just that attention cry. So, he goes and picks her up, starts playing with her or whatever. Well, he eventually starts playing a game that I wasn't bothered at the fact that he was playing the game. I was bothered at the fact that he wanted to get me in his foolishness, and I wasn't having it. So he said some things that could be misconstrued as racial slurs, and I let him know that. I was very polite. I was very respectful. This man is twice my senior plus, okay? Like, I wasn't going to come at him sideways because him growing up and me growing up, times were different. However, it's 2018, okay? And Darwin had some things right, okay? You got to evolve at some point. Like, times are different than what you grew up with. So you can either change to the times. You don't got to conform. Just be aware. Okay, be wary of what's going on around you and your surroundings and what you say. Okay, Be well cognizant to your audience. And if not, you're going to have people like me who are going to say something about it. However, everybody's not so nice. Some people will say what I said with flying fists or gunshots. And that's just the way that it is. Like, yes, they're words. However, they were just words when you were playing with the child. When you directed them at me specifically, now it's a racial slur. And you didn't understand the fact that because your audience changed, the tone in your message also changed. So, me being the highly intellectual dude that I am, more than happy to let you know that, hey, you need to chill out with that. It can be seen as a racial slur. This is why. I'm not mad or upset at the fact that you were playing with the baby that way, but when you directed it towards me, that's what we're discussing now. Okay? Yeah, Grandpa didn't like the fact that, I stood up for myself and said what I needed to say. He got in his feels. He decided to leave. Now, before he decided to leave, I told him I was going to the bathroom because I knew that he gets in his feels way too easily, and when he does, he leaves. I was just like, okay, I'm going to the bathroom. Okay, just don't leave the baby in here screaming by herself. Like, uncle was outside on a business call, needed to take it. Okay, not a problem. You said that you had the baby until one of us came back. Okay, I am going to the bathroom because you have the baby. Don't be a bitch and leave her in the middle of the living room screaming. He did exactly what I wanted him not to do. Like, I didn't even get to touch the bathroom door. It took me about 10, 15 seconds to get from where I was to the bathroom door, right? As soon as my hand touched the handle, baby screaming. And I'm like, well, damn, dude. Like, really? I know that it's not over. It's not over. Everybody's going to want to know about what happened and why you're upset and whatever. And I was right. As soon as people came back into the house, the rest of the family, everybody wanted to know what happened, why dad was upset, this, that, and the other. So I told them. I told them everything that was said. I have no problems with sharing with you the truth. So they were like, oh, well, damn. Okay, you handled that thoroughly well. I completely agree with you. Like, he should have known better. So now, looking back in blindsight, I was like, okay, like, yes, it needed to be said, but I can understand where he's coming from. It's not the fact that it was said to him. It's the fact that a black person said it to him. Well, if you're trying to offend me, then shouldn't me, the offended or the potentially offended, have the right to say something to you so that you can fix whatever it is that you're talking about so that it doesn't cause future problems and that it doesn't get worse? Because I was the right person to say something like that to. But what happens when you find the wrong person? Now it becomes up to their discretion about how they handle you. I'm trying to prevent that. But you getting caught in your feels because a black person said it to you are not seeing the bigger picture. Like, I wasn't born when slaves were running amok. Am I still affected by the history? Yes, I most certainly am. But am I going to dwell on it? No, I most certainly am not. Like, I got friends of all different colors, creeds, religions. I'm not going to sit here and let some one old white dude ruin my day behind something that he said. I'm going to speak to him about it, try to man up about it and be like, hey man, this is why it's wrong. He proved that he couldn't do that, so I moved on. The next day, Saturday, he comes back and he put on a good facade. He put on a very good facade. He's playing with the kids. He's talking to the wife, he's just chatting it up with everybody, My friend's like, okay, maybe we move past. As soon as her husband comes out of the back, Grandpa decides to be like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a racist. Out of the blue, completely not in context, had nothing to do with what they were talking about. I'm sitting there in the living room laying down and I'm like, hold your tongue, hold your tongue. You're bigger than that. He's trying to get a rise out of you, and it's not worth it. I'm like, you're trying to gull me into, this whole conversation, and I don't have time for that. So I'm gonna call your bluff, and I'm gonna show you that I'm a bigger man than what you thought I was. So I'm sitting there holding my tongue. And my friends were like, look, we're not doing this. Like, if this is how you're going to be, if this is how you're going to act, like, then you need to leave. Because unfortunately, I completely agree with what was said. Like, these aren't the days of old. You do have to cater your words to the audience in which you're speaking to. So that gave me a little bit of relief knowing that, white people had my back, in regards to this situation. Because it could have got really messy really quick. And he left again. But ever since that day, he's been trying to make everybody's life hell. That's perfectly fine with me. I am perfectly fine with that. Because I was getting kind of tired of you being in my personal space. And he didn't really seem to get the point. Like, it's one thing if we're in the same room. It's another thing if you are right on top of me, like breathing my air, all in my bubble, like touching, like, dude, don't touch me. Like, don't touch me. We not cool like that. Don't fucking touch me. I'm not in here touching you. Chill the fuck out. So now that he's in his feels, I'm taking full advantage of this shit. I most certainly am. Because I don't have to worry about you coming over and hovering over me, like I got the last piece of cake and you want it. But I'm like, I was stuck, like I chose to take the intellectual way out. I chose to take the way out of a man with fucking sense. And he wanted me to rise up and be the stereotypical angry black man and become the victim, or him become the victim. I mean, he still chose to try to be the victim, but in a different perspective, because I decided not to be the angry black man. It's, these are stereotypical aggressive black men, he's just another one of them. And now on the other hand, now he chose to be, I'm offended because this guy said something to me that I didn't think was right. I don't think I'm this way, whatever. Either way it goes, because I'm a black man saying truth to you, a white man, it was misconstrued. You should have asked for clarity. I have no problem enlightening somebody to make them better. And this situation could have made him better. He was ignorant to the fact. The fact was brought up and addressed. Now he's knowledgeable and won't make the same mistake again. And if he does, it's no longer on me as to what happens to you. But because you're my friend's dad, I felt the obligation to enlighten you as to it being 2018, not 1965, and you need to be able to make that connection. But being that you didn't, allow me to enlighten you and help you make that connection. But no, wasn't seen like that. So now, every time he comes around, it's, by the way, I'm a racist. If that's you, man, by all means. I come from Mississippi, bruh. Like, I've seen racism straight up. I've seen what the Klan can do, and no, this is not a call-out video. Like, I've already seen what y'all can do, and I've already survived that shit. Like, I'm not here trying to start shit up. That's ignorant as fuck. I'm not calling nobody out. I am just enjoying the time that I have with the people that I choose to invest my time into. And if I am investing my time into people, then guess what? I want to see the benefit of my investment. I want to see the product. If I'm not here making your life better, then your investment is foolish and it's a waste. And I refuse to be that dude that y'all say, oh yeah, he seemed to be a good guy, but all the time that we shared was for nothing. Nah, I'm going to make your life better while I'm in it. You will know that your life was better because I was in it. And if we part ways, as long as we part ways on good terms, your life will continue to be good because I'll show up every once in a while. Things won't change. I'll be in your circle of influence. However, if I have to part ways for bad reasons, then the poison of the scorpion will stay. I don't go out of my way to make people's lives bad. It's just something that I've noticed. If I leave somebody's life on bad terms, shit typically ends up getting bad for them. Just the way that it is. Kind of like a protection for myself. If shit doesn't get bad for people, I know that that's a good person and I need to find a way to make sure that I keep them in my circle. If shit does get bad, then okay, allow the poison to take its root and I'll cut my ties. Yeah, so just thought I'd share that. In Blindside, I don't think I could have handled that any better. I don't. Like, I think I handled that myself thoroughly well. But, yo, leave your comments, let me know what you would have done, you know? And don't look at the fact that it's a white person to a black person. Don't let that stop you from leaving a comment because there are times where a black person makes a racial slur towards a white person. What would you do? Especially given my situation, being in that same predicament, what would you do? If you were faced with someone with racial slurs trying to get you involved in their conversation, trying to get a rise out of you, and you decided whatever you decide. I honestly want to see, what y'all's thoughts, y'all's opinions. Leave a like if you like the video. Share it with your peeps because I want to see how big this shit gets. And I'll catch y'all next time. Be easy.